Yeah. She say anything now. Where I say she go there do one. She say anything now, anything now, anything. Now she say anything now. Where I say she go there do one. She say anything now, anything now, anything now, anything. Sure anything. Baby, who you this, who you another? What do you think about it? Say, mommy, one, mommy, two, another. Awesome, me and our pet, me and our pet me. Come rain, come shine, any weather, me and our pet me. Oh no, I should have see me so. I'll give anything, I'll do anything. Yes, me a Casanova, baby. Wuntina, masasa, baby. Yes, me a Casanova, baby. Wuntina, masasa. Ask me anything, baby. Now she say anything now. Where I say she got there do one. She say anything now, anything now. Now she say anything now. Where I say she got there do one. She say anything now, every little thing, anything. She say anything now, yeah. So she gonna do another. Anything now, baby, give me everything. Yeah.
Hello. Is your mic on?
Assessed. Is it?
Hello. My mic is on. What about Barry? Your mic is on? Not yet. All right. So let's play some music.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I can hear it.
Then you go. Every mic is fine.
All right.
So if you like,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chatwithmissd show. Do you guys miss me? I know you do, but hey, today's a hot topic. Definitely, we're diving into relationship. As you know, on my channel, we talk about everything necessary, and today we are diving into relationship, the crucial road between love and manipulation. But before we get into that, stay tuned and listen to this music.
for my baby, Matia she dum. Matia she dum. I've been conquered giant today. Say I found my baby, Matia she dum. Matia she dum. Yeah.
You know the one.
They call me the girl them sugar. Big daddy fame, big girl them sugar. They call me the girl them sugar.
Make we go somewhere far up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Chat Show Hour. Today I'm joined by my I want to say my beautiful guest, but Barry is a gentleman here. I'm here. Barry is not a guest here, but welcome home, Barry. So for those who don't know who is Barry Safari, could you please kindly tell the viewers who you are and what do you do?
I'm Safari Bari. I'm
Yeah.
a local musician, artist, athlete, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it.
I've been around for a little while, and like you said, I'm no guest on the show.
Yes.
So I'm just happy to be back.
Yes, welcome back. So as you hear, he's a man of many hats. He does it all. And I'm blessed to have the beautiful Renee in the building. Hi, Renee.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. I haven't done a podcast in a while, so it's the first one in a long time. I'm excited to be here. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm a singer.
She went. Not yet. I need to tell the viewers who you are. And why I wanted you here. I've been following you for a while. On TikTok, you keep it real, just like me. And for those of you who haven't heard her music, please do. She has one of the best. Ooh. Yeah, she can sing, So I was like, I gotta have this girl here. She's real and she's pretty and she can sing. She must come to Chat with me this. So you wanted to break it down. Tell the viewers what you do.
I mean, yeah, I've been making music for a few years now, but this is the year to definitely boost up.
Yes.
I got 2 new singles coming in the next 2 months.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm also an actress, model, singer songwriter. I was a basketball coach until last year.
Wow.
And yeah, I've been doing a lot of stuff, but this being out here doing my own thing, art is definitely the passion. And
But you guys are
career.
definitely power doers. You know, like you, both of you guys are doing amazing thing in your own element. How does it feel to be here?
I'm happy to be here. I'm
Yeah.
excited about the topic, you know, because love is the thing.
Love is the thing. You know, before we dive into the topic, I actually would love to hear from your own point, like definition. Safari, what's the definition between love and manipulation? Like, I would love to hear your own perspective on that.
To me, my definition, well, the difference between love and manipulation,
Yeah.
I would like to say love is an act of selflessness, while manipulation is an act of selfishness. I think that people do things out of love with no harmful intention. It's just something that's natural that you have for people. And manipulation is kind of like a pre-calculated thing that people use to like take advantage of people's vulnerabilities.
Yes.
Get what they want out of other people.
Yes. Yes. I can definitely relate to it. Yeah, Renee.
I honestly don't think I could say it better.
You agree with him 100%.
Yeah, I mean, of course there are perspectives to add, but that's it in short for sure. Because I think you lack respect for another person if you're a big manipulator. And in love, it's about selflessness, as he said, and yeah, manipulation is just basically about selfishness, getting what you want, and not caring enough for the other person in that sense. But I do also think that the person who is being manipulated,
allows it.
They allow it more easily, even if they understand that they're being manipulated, if they have love for the other person.
So basically, okay. Let's talk about us. Okay, we have all been there. You know, you've been in love. I've been in love. You've been in love. Could you like share a little personal story? Like, have you been in a relationship where you felt like, is this love? Am I being manipulated? You know what I mean? Like, share with, because I have few stories that I could share from my own from my own personal experience on that. Yeah.
To be honest, before you bring in this topic to me, I haven't really thought about the concept of the connection between love and manipulation before. But I've definitely been manipulated before by people who love me, by people who don't love me, and by people who I love and who I don't love. Relationships when it comes to family, friendships, and romantic relationships. Many times.
Wow. Yeah. That's deep.
And I can also say honestly that subconsciously I have also been manipulating a little bit at times.
Like you have been the manipulator to other people.
Yes. But more often the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, I love your honesty. At least you're proudly unbeaten.
I mean, we're all human and we're learning.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was doing it when I was doing it.
Yeah.
But I've learned from it, and now I'm definitely conscious every time I catch myself being a bit too selfish, and I stop myself from doing that.
Yeah. Well, at least you're growing, like that's growth for you to recognize, like, hey, this is not, this is not right, and I want to do something different and all that. So you're taking accountability of your wrong and you want to do good. So I applaud you for that. What about you, Barry?
I can agree with her. I think that I've been on the both ends, like, especially as a man. Like, I think in order to know how to manipulate, you have to be manipulated. Like, we learn these things from experience. And sometimes I think the difference is some people feed off of being a manipulator. Some people, they think that that's the only way to get where they want to get, or that's the only way that they can get out of people what they want to get out of them.
Okay, wait, give me an example of a scenario. Like, what do you think? Give me an example of that.
Manipulation doesn't even have to necessarily just be dealing with love and relationships. People will manipulate you for things as such as you've been in the music industry, and you'll see people that manipulate you for opportunities. You'll have people that will flat out lie to you, or you'll have people that will sell you dreams to get you to agree to do things that's not necessarily beneficial or healthy for you. And as a man, I say it all the time, especially as an athlete, like being a foreign guy, it's like I could give you an example. Like guys come to Finland all the time, and they would know what women are looking for. They would know that women are looking for something new, something fresh.
They would know.
Yeah, of course, because you hear it all the time. Like I said, in order to be a manipulator, you have to.
You got it. Yeah, the game. The game.
So just imagine that a lot of guys will understand that a lot of women here are looking for maybe an independent, strong man, or some man that's exotic compared to just what they're normally used to. And they will know that they have that. They got that ick factor, and they will use that to manipulate women to get what they want.
Wow.
I mean, this ain't news to nobody.
No, but you know what? It's a two-way thing. You know, because I've heard about these ladies who actually, especially because Barry is from United States and he's what is it called? American football you play. So there are actually ladies who like recruiting niggas men's like him. We're keeping it real. You know what I mean? Like there are some ladies out here, they know when these people are coming from the States. They will be actually at the airports. You know, like, is that true?
That's true.
I heard about it. I was like, what?
At the airport?
At the airport, yes.
I remember my first year, when I first came into Finland in 2014, I was like 21 years old, and there was already women that knew that I was coming.
Look at that!
Like, they already knew, like, that I was coming, and, like, they were already prepared to, like, greet me with the same game that they probably greet other people with.
Oh, my God.
And it goes both ways, because you also have men, let's say men that come from foreign countries, and they want to get a visa in Finland, they will manipulate. They will pretend to love and maybe even have a few kids out of the deal just so they can stay.
Yeah.
And some of these women may not recognize the game because they're really generally looking for love. They're generally looking for family. And there are men that will give you exactly that, but know inside that it's not genuine.
Yeah, that's true.
Pure.
Yeah.
And as soon as they get their visa or their residency, they will leave.
Yeah.
That's manipulation.
That is manipulation. But I think I can agree with what Renee said earlier. She said, if you're going to be manipulated, at least you allow that to happen just because you love that person. And also for us women, I can speak on women. Sometimes we women, we have too much high expectation for the other person. You know, okay, I'm not gonna go into that because that's some racial fact where I'm gonna go. Because what I heard is mostly white women who does that. You know, like meeting them at the airport, knowing that they're like black strong men are coming here, so they are looking for that. You know what I mean? Interracial relationship. You know, and you guys are looking. Maybe like you said, you were 21 years old when you came here, and you didn't know nothing about this country, about the women's.
Yeah. You know?
And I just feel like the people were trying to groom you in a way. Would you say?
Okay, I think you sound too much like a victim right now.
Nah.
No, he wouldn't be. But in a way, he could be a victim without knowing. In a way, you know what I mean?
And yes, but that would have to be a very self-aware manipulator to do that to you.
Right.
Though.
I wouldn't I think that some people that I've met along the journey were genuine.
Yeah.
Like they just had a specific taste of what they want, but there are women that have an agenda, and you do stumble across those both ways. And I think that men and women can be victims of being manipulated. But also, I think that some of us can be the manipulators, because there are a lot of guys that come here and they want to escape from where they come from. They want to escape their reality. They feel that coming here and meeting people that aren't aware of who they are and what they're about is a perfect opportunity to start over. And a lot of men and a lot of women will take advantage of that. Like when you come from foreign countries or foreign places, even just coming from Sweden to Finland is different. People don't know who you are.
That's true.
And you can really create a different personality and a persona of who you are with people that don't know you. And I think that that's something that as you grow with time, you'll be able to peep out when people are running game and when people are genuine. There are a lot of people that haven't reached that level, and that's why, as you said, sometimes we think people allow it. Because I even have friends that you ever have a friend that you're telling them over and over, like, you blind, like you're not seeing it. I don't think that they're being blind. They really just don't get it. Like, they really just don't see it the way we see it, because sometimes when you're so deep in it, that you can't really notice it. Like, your emotions and everything is
especially when you are a good-hearted person, when when you genuinely have a good heart for other people, when you genuinely like to help other people, when you're just genuinely being a good person, it's really hard for you to see how people are using the other person or how people are being manipulated by you. I am a victim of that when it comes to friendship. When it comes to friendship, because like I treat my friends how I would like to be treated. So most of the time it's not the same. You know what I mean? I'm not getting the same love that I'm pouring out there. And it took actually somebody that I'm dating currently to actually point out, like, hey, Diana, you need to open your eyes up. Because I've been with you for a while now, and I see how you are there with other people, but those people are not, like, giving you the same energy back. Like, you don't need to be all that nice to people. You don't, yeah.
I agree with that. Let me say something to that.
Yes.
I do feel like, if you love somebody, if you love your friend, you want to be the best you to them. You're anyway going to want to treat them in the best way you can, to be the best you.
Exactly.
But maybe you shouldn't give them. They don't necessarily deserve that energy because they're not giving that back. But them not giving that back is still a different thing from whether or not they are manipulating you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And that's something that I had to learn. For me, I don't know how to match the same energy with people. It's either I like you genuinely or I don't. That's how simple it is. Because matching energy is like pretending, you know what I mean? Like playing games with people. I don't do that. I am the way I am. I'm genuine. And that's why I don't really, I'm trying to be tough. I'm trying to match the same energy with people. But now what I'm trying to do is, like, you know what? If it doesn't serve me peace, I'm not doing it. I'm not making time for it. I'm not going there. I'm just, like, that's what I'm learning right now. I'm learning self-love.
And I think that, and I think you brought up a great point, because some people, it's not that they don't understand they're being manipulated. It's just sometimes people hate the idea of feeling that they have to change who they are to adjust to people. Because when you're a nice and a kind person, and somebody's doing so much to try to get you to really break that part of you, it's tough, because you don't want to change being kind, being loving, being giving, because people are doing you wrong. But I think in that you learn how to be that person to the people that deserve it.
Exactly.
I think that I would hate to tell a person, oh, don't be nice, don't be kind, don't trust people. Like, that's me telling you not to be who you naturally are.
Exactly.
But what I will say is keep a close eye on the people that you're giving that to. And I think that that's what we learn through these experiences. I think it's natural for us to go through this. Like, I would hate to say I regret going through anything. Even if I'm on the end of being a manipulator or being manipulated, because being a manipulator, that also teaches you something if you really want to grow.
That's true.
Like, I've had to look in the mirror and face the fact that I've done people wrong, that I've hurt and disappointed people. And how you feel about looking at yourself says a lot about you. There are some people that know that they do people wrong, and you know what they do? They do it again.
They do it again. They're not willing to look at the mirror at all. They don't want to take accountability of that.
Because there are people that will see people cry over and over, and they will continue to do whatever triggers them. And that's when you know if a person has goodness in their heart or not. I do believe, like what you said earlier, sometimes you accidentally manipulate people because you don't understand fully what manipulation is in some sorts. It comes in so many different forms, and you may not be aware that even if it's like in a relationship where you say something to somebody like, oh, well, if you can't do this or be that, I'm leaving you. That is a form of
Yes. And actually, I want to share, on that note, some personal experience that I've had in the past. So ladies out here, because no, this is for the ladies, okay? Because manipulation could be looking like a form of love. When you're being manipulated, you don't see that, because all you see is the goodness that the person does to you. And I used to be in that position. So way back then, I actually used to be engaged with that person. We were together for 5 years. We lived together. This guy was good. When I mean good, Renee, he was really, really good. a black man who treats you like a white man. I don't know if you know what I mean. You know what I mean. There are some good men out here, black men out there, but you know when I said that a black man who treat like a white man, because white men, they're like very romantic, generous, and all that, you know. And he was all that. Let me explain this, because this will be something that you could take from this, you know. Because when I tell you that I had zero doubt, like this person will do me bad or hurts me in any way, that's how confident I was in him, because of the love he showed me, he showered me and everything.
Yeah.
But could you imagine, within that whole year that I was with, those 5 years I was with him, not once did I suspect that, oh, this person will ever cheat on me, because he did not give me those signs. It was like love bombing me. Everything was just so perfect. But there was something in the back of my head telling me that, Diana, this guy is not what he seems to be. You know, like everybody have this instinct about people. When you meet somebody, when something feels too good to be true, you better listen to that inner voice. Really. So time goes on. We look like this good couple and everything like that. But there was just something in me, like, you know, I feel like, why I'm not being so appreciative for this guy, because he's really being that good. All right. To my surprise, I used to have a close friend of mine. She's Finn. I'm not gonna mention her name. 3 years into the relationship with this guy, she opened up to me like, "Oh yeah, they met one time in the club, and I wasn't around, and then she took him home. They did what they did.
She knew he was your man?
She knew. That's why I tell you, like, that's why I'm willing to talk about this. You know what I mean? She knew. And you know what the worst part is? Let's just say, yeah, I'm with Barry right now. Like how we're sitting. This girl, she been at my home. We watching movie. We cooking together, like 3 of us. You know, like, you know, and I never suspected like something like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me to find out 2 years later, she didn't tell me when it happened. She told me 2 years later when it happened. And within those 2 years, he's been low key doing other, you know, women. Oh. But I never suspected that, because he never gave me a reason to suspect him.
Smooth criminal.
Very.
Dang, I'm so sorry you went through that.
Girl, no. I kind of, you know, I was at that time, to be honest with you, you know, I cannot blame him. I have to take accountability. You know, I have to keep it real. I did like him, but I kind of wasn't in love with him. And when a woman is not in love with a man, they don't really put effort. They kind of take him for granted. And that's what I did with him. You know what I mean? I took his kindness for granted. So I kind of accepted the fact that if I could have put like more effort in that relationship, maybe he was looking for validation. He was looking for those, you know, men's are very emotional, you know, and I wasn't giving him those what he needed, you know.
Yeah, I got you. Can I say something?
Yes, of course.
Let me just say, it's super mature to take accountability on realizing and like knowing why somebody did the things they did. It doesn't justify it though.
No, of course not.
If you wasn't satisfied,
girl, guess what?
But I'm really happy you have forgiven for the sake of yourself.
Exactly. Till this day, it's been over 10 years. Till this day, he never took accountability for what he did. He said he never did that.
Oh my god.
He never did that.
That's wild.
So that's why, and also because, for some reason, even like 10 years back, I'm having trust issues with men. You know what I mean? Especially when men is being too nice with me. Because I'm in the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, am I being too blind? What if this one does what the other one did?
It's always scary.
And I cannot really compare people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my biggest manipulation. He really manipulated me to think that everything was perfect, and I mistaken his manipulation as love. Like, wow, this guy really truly loves me.
And I know that hurt, because once you figured out what he was doing, it also breaks your confidence.
Of course,
it makes you feel like you are not enough, even though
exactly.
You can acknowledge that maybe. What I had to learn was we do get in situations and relationships that other people's. The way that they feel is we're not probably on the same level, and those are things that still have to be just talked about. Because I agree with what she says, that if he felt that way, he still could have said something before he decided to go 2 years creeping.
Yeah,
you know, because
he never did, not once.
You would have probably respected him more by saying like, "Hey, look, Diana, I love you, but I don't think you're loving me the same way." and I'm feeling tempted, or I'm feeling like I would want to explore something else because I can't get it out of you.
100%.
You would have probably understood, and y'all can be friends now.
Yes.
But what men have to understand is we sometimes feel that it's not as simple to do that, but it is.
It is.
Like sometimes we paint in our own heads that, dang, I can't tell her that because she gonna leave or she gonna feel this way.
No,
you gotta be ready to accept the consequences for whatever. Like it'll be better for you to tell her than for her to find out, because one thing about her and the woman is she ain't gonna never forget it.
No.
She would never forget it.
No.
And she will, and some would let every woman that she come in contact know what you did.
That's true.
So it's better to just try to do it the right way. It's always a right way of doing something. Do we always do it the right way? No, but that comes down to who you are.
I think it's just part of a man's being insecure. But you know the funny thing? The funny thing that if he would have told me, like, you know what, take accountability, like, you know what, I messed up. I'm really sorry. I wasn't that, because that happened 2 years ago. You know what I mean? I would have genuinely forgiven him, and maybe till this day we've been together with him, because we're not perfect. You know what I mean? We're not perfect. It would have been hard to trust him, but you know, like when you build a relationship like more than 5 years, it's a long time. You know,
would have been willing to rebuild the trust.
I would have been. Yeah. But till this day, this person is like, no, I never did that. You know,
that leads to me thinking about what you've actually said before in private. Like, what part does communication play into this concept of manipulation? And I feel like if people believe that it's difficult for them to get what they want from the other person, then they will maybe try and manipulate you.
That's true.
But if they think that they can be straightforward with you and you'll be able to listen to them, actually, I mean, they'll have an honest conversation with you. That's at least what you should do. You should keep the communication as open as possible. And I think when you do that in a relationship, it also leads to people wanting to manipulate each other less.
I think, I hear what you're saying, but I feel like women like us, because when I see you like a strong, powerful queen, I see you like that. For a woman, Barry, you can, also add on this, but I feel like there are two types of women, yeah? Mm-hmm. When men see women, like, they see like this strong, confident, independent woman, right? And then they see this kind of vulnerable, like, low confidence or whatever, I think they're more easily to tell this person the vulnerable person like the truth than to tell the strong independent woman the truth, because for some reason they're afraid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, Barry?
It tends to make certain people more insecure about stronger.
It does, but it takes a real person, like a real person, not like a real man, because there are boys and men, but it takes really a real man to really, step out of his comfort zone and just, say, yeah. So, and there are few of those ones left, unfortunately. Go on.
I think, and this is just me speaking on my own experience. Yeah. Sometimes I think that for some men, it's hard for them to say those things because they actually do care about you. And even though their actions with other people don't justify it, because sometimes you strong women or whatever you want to call it, a man can tell you he's sorry, but you're not hearing that because sometimes your anger and frustration is bigger than your reasoning. And sometimes men know that. Like, for an example, maybe at that period of time, he doesn't feel like you were the person that would have heard him out if he would have told you. So instead of facing the consequences, and that's the selfish part of manipulation. We said manipulation is about selfishness. Yeah. He was selfish to not tell you because he probably knew that if he told you, especially with your friend, it's a done deal. So it was selfish of him to want to keep doing what he's doing instead of facing the consequence. But that was the fear tactic in him. He probably did fear that regardless of how he presented the truth, it wasn't going to be acceptable. But what I've learned as a man is it's not my place to decide what you're capable of deciding for yourself. I don't deserve the right to make the decision for you. And that's what he did. So instead of telling you the truth and letting you choose, okay, I'm going to give him a second chance or I'm going to go forward, he made it for you. He said, okay, well, if I don't tell her, she's going to stay.
She won't find out anyway.
And I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, but I'm not going to lose her. So I think that that's something that us as men and people in general have to come to terms with, that when you're involving with other human beings, other people, it's not our right to make decisions for them because sometimes people do that and they don't understand people's health is on the line.
Yes.
You know, there are a lot of people that have been affected with diseases and stuff because a person chose to withhold information because they didn't want to be honest and they wanted
and people need to realize mental health isn't separate from physical health.
It is.
I mean, it isn't separate from it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And actually, mental health is even more worse than
sometimes.
Because when you can handle things, it makes you want to do things.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So Barry, I do hear what you're saying, but what as a man, like, do you think that you would advise more males to be more, upfront and more honest about their feelings and thoughts in their relationship?
I think now, from what I've been seeing, I think we're starting to get there because what I've noticed over the past few years, like there are a lot of podcasts going on and men are starting to speak out loud. And I think that what we need is to promote that because before I can honestly say growing up, regardless of how you felt or regardless of what you were doing, we were taught to not speak about it. Like I grew up in a community where your uncles and your older brothers and people would know each other's dirt, and it was manly to not say anything about it. It was manly
to keep your mouth
on the low.
Oh,
yeah, that's what made you a man or an OG.
Wow.
But now I think that those are traumatic things that we have to stop doing because I think the reason that my logic is now different is because I have a son and I don't teach him that. I don't tell Jaden that, oh yeah, man, if you get in trouble with your girl to lie. No, I don't want him to hurt nobody's daughter. I don't want him to lie to nobody's daughter because I don't want my daddy to lie to my mom. My parents are still married and my dad did make mistakes, but the only thing that I'm proud of is my mom can say my dad made mistakes, but he owned up to them. And that's why she was able to forgive him. And that's why they've been married for over 30 years.
See? That's the key. He made a mistake. He owned up to them and she forgave him.
Yeah.
Look at them now.
And he chose after that to go to therapy. And I think that a lot of things that we as men don't want to accept is it's our trauma. Our trauma causes us to do these things that have you ever dated a man and he knows he did wrong, but he'll say, I don't know why I'm doing this. It ain't you, it's me. We know that.
We've heard that many times.
And what he's basically saying without saying is I'm traumatized. My trauma of whatever I've been through before you is allowing me to do things to you that you don't deserve, but I can't look in the mirror and face that. And that's what I went through. I can honestly say as a man, I had traumatic things that made it hard for me to fully love and understand what it was like. I didn't want to be with nobody, but I didn't want to be alone either. So now I'm doing what you said men do. I'm love bombing women because I want the benefit of being around them, the presence, the comfort.
But why though? Why?
Because
why is that?
Because I knew ultimately, well, for one, I'm not gay. I didn't want it from a man. And I think that it was selfish because I think that I wanted love and affection on my time and terms, but I didn't want to give it all the time. And that's what relationships require. You can't just get time, attention, and affection when you want it.
True that.
And I think that that's where I was because that was what was popular. Like I grew up as an athlete where we felt like we could have our picks and chooses of women when we wanted to. And now you don't realize that you're hurting so many people because you're being it's an ego
selfish thing. It just you just want to feel
listening to this podcast.
Shout out to your ex.
And so then as I got older, now I'm 32 soon, I started thinking like, why did I really do that? Did I do that because it was cool? No.
Growth.
I realized I did it because there were parts of my life that were probably empty and I was filling that void with affection, with sex, with attention. But was it really fulfilling my soul in the end? No. And what I was doing once I got everything out of that, I was pushing people away. I was curving them because now I got what I wanted. But to get what I wanted, what did I do? I manipulated these women to think I really like them. I really want to build something. And that was wrong.
Yeah.
And so I think that now I'm able to publicly speak about this because I faced it and I understand that what I did was wrong. And I'm not ashamed of saying that in order to become this, I had to look in the mirror at some point. Because I think every man's going to really find a woman that he loves and cares about.
That's true.
And I think what happened with me is I found that person and I realized it was that person and I blew it. And it hurts still.
Damn.
Because now you get to see those people go off. They they move on, and you realize if you would have had your shit together, you could have presented something special to
That's
that person.
True. That's
and
true.
I think at the time, what men do, I don't need you.
The ego comes out. Yeah, the ego comes out.
Yeah, you'll never find nobody like me. Yes, the fuck that real.
Yeah, of course. But Barry, I have to say, I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you. You're only 32. There are men out there in their 50s, 60s, and they're still the same. And for you to really, recognize your mistakes and want to do better at this age already. You're still young, and you have your kids. I know that Jaden would be a better father to somebody, a better boyfriend or husband to somebody because of what you're teaching him. So applause to you that. And for all the ladies that you have hurt in the past, Barry would like to publicly say what?
I'm sorry.
I
personally apologize to a few of them. There's some of them I don't even remember, but to the ones that I have been able to apologize to, I have, and I think that giving people proper peace and closure is important too, because
it is important.
What I learned is it did a lot for those women, for me to come as a man and say, hey, look, I know what I did was wrong. I'm sorry for whatever I made you feel. There's no excuse for that. And surprisingly, a lot of people was like, thank you. You will have some that's still bitter.
Exactly.
They're not gonna forgive you.
Of course.
But that's a part of accepting the consequences.
And the ones who are bitter, there's still emotions involved and all that kind of stuff. But hey, enough about Barry. Let's go back to the topic. Talking about healthy relationship, I would like to ask Renee this question. How can one maintain a healthy balance between expressing love and avoiding manipulation in relationship?
How can one stay in a healthy relationship?
Yeah, maintain.
Wait, what was the end part of that?
So how can one maintain a healthy balance between expressing love and avoiding manipulation in a healthy relationship?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, once you get into a situationship,
and wait, break it down. What is a situationship?
Honestly, my friend's been using that word, and I asked her, "What does this mean?"
What does it mean?
Let me see
is it like your Gen Z's conversation nowadays? Situationship.
So if I understand correctly, it means that you're not yet in a
relationship.
You're not in a relationship,
but you're not single either.
Yes.
So you're just hooking up in between.
Yeah, you're not ready to make yourselves exclusive. You're not calling yourself girlfriend and boyfriend.
But you're ready to get the benefit of the girlfriend and boyfriend. But
exclusively. You're like, this word situation is there because you're gonna see where it goes.
Okay.
So,
all right, go on.
Basically, when you're in that stage, when you're thinking about if you want to start dating somebody, if you are ready to be in that, if you are ready to start dating. You are aware that there are risks always that come with loving somebody. There's risk of getting hurt, losing the partner, losing the relationship. And you have to make compromises because you're going to change your life a little bit. It's not just you making your everyday for you because there's somebody else who you're going to be spending a lot of time with.
That's true.
Possibly even starting to live with them.
That's true. Yeah.
So that means that you have to be ready to be vulnerable. That means you need to be emotionally mature and consciously want to grow in that aspect of life. You have to want to share your emotions, whether or not they're good and bad. You have to be able to, and I know especially for men, but also for myself, it has been very difficult to even understand all of my own emotions, but to tell them when I'm like to actually word out like what's bothering me when I'm sad, when I'm angry. There's always an underlying reason for that, even when you don't understand that. So instead of lashing out,
take time.
Take time to think about yourself and like
communicate.
Word out everything, all the feelings, word them out. No matter if the things are good or bad, word them out. Have patience to listen to the other person and to talk, even though it's an uncomfortable subject for yourself. You need to do that for the sake of your relationship and for the respect of the other person.
It's true that
you can't have healthy love without respect. trust, honesty.
Preach that, sister.
Yeah. And
communication is a big factor in a relationship. Yeah,
definitely. And I do think that if somebody manipulates you a lot, they're lacking one of those things for sure. And
absolutely,
most of the time, if you manipulate someone, you're being dishonest.
The person is being dishonest with themselves.
That too. Yeah. So you definitely need to pick carefully who you want to give that part of yourself to, who you want to be in a romantic relationship with.
I think the word is who is deserving of your hearts. The heart is very fragile nowadays. So
also there's always a risk. And you can never be sure of what's going to happen. So don't stay alone for the rest of your life because you're scared. That's not the way to go.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I actually do agree with you on that. I think the best way to put it, you need to choose and be like, who is willing to. Let's say if you're seeing somebody right now, is this person? Are you willing to take that risk for this person? What is this person in like? Is it your personal person? And everything that Renee just mentioned, are they loyal? Are they honest? And all that good stuff. Are they that person to you? And if they are, yes, you definitely, for me, like, even though I explained now what I went through in the past, but that doesn't make me like not believe in love. Of course, I'm going to be a little bit like, like I'm not easily like vulnerable with men's.
You're patient.
Yeah, I'm very patient, but it could sound like maybe I'm kind of rude, but because most people think that I'm kind of arrogant when it comes to men, so unfortunately. But I think it's because of my past and what I went through. So I'm very like conscious of how I do things and how I move around. I'm not easily like, to fall in love or, express my emotions.
And it's okay. I think that it's fair to say that you're still healing and you're still taking steps towards being cautious about giving. Like, people have to understand, when you give your heart to people, that's a huge thing. And I don't think that the people that get that opportunity sometimes understand when a woman says she loves and cares about you, that's huge. And I can honestly say even I didn't understand that, because for some people, when they haven't really learned what that is, it's just words. And I think that a lot of these things can change if we as people start teaching our youth now these things.
What love is.
Yeah, what love is and how it looks in the form of action.
Yeah.
Because we all learn the words. Like, even when you go to school, hey, Jabari, how do you spell love? L-O-V. What does it mean to you? Oh, it means if my mommy gives me toys for Christmas. No, that's not love.
Okay, in your own words, definition of love. What love means to you, Renee? What love is?
Okay. Well, yes, definitely. People will tell you especially in their early years, that they love you, but they don't understand the meaning
of love. Yeah.
I did that. I told somebody I loved them in my earlier relationships.
Like the first day you met them, or what?
No. I mean, I was like, is this love that I'm feeling?
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess it is. I've never been in love before. But then, and by the way, being in love and loving is two different things.
That's true. But that is true.
But later on, when I'm more grown up now, I realized that I didn't necessarily love that person, because I also believe that if you once love somebody,
they will always stay.
You will always love them.
That's true.
Even if the relationship changes, you will love them. So, to me, love means that you're willing to be selfless, unselfish, with this person, whether or not you get something back.
That's true.
You don't expect even love back. You have respect for that person. Yes, we all know that we come up with baggage,
Yeah.
We got trust issues, we got different type of issues that we have within ourselves and that we need to heal. That don't stop us from loving, right? But when you love somebody, you want to trust them.
That's true.
Okay, I was gonna say you want to respect them, but to be honest, I think you have to have some respect for somebody.
Especially I mean, men's definitely deserve some respect, but also it's also with women's, when women give respect when they feel loved by their men. That's how it is.
That's a concept for sure.
That's how it is. It is.
Yeah.
So love is for you in 3 words.
Love is selfless care, willingness, and
to overlook a lot of things.
willingness to respect, trust, and share.
Okay. What about you, Barry? What love is to you?
What I've learned is love is just simply unconditional. Like it's and what I mean by unconditional is like I don't have a list of guidelines of what you need to do for me to love you fully. Like if I love you, love is patient, love is kind, love is unconditional. I feel like if I love you, I'm going to give you my best effort every time, and I'm going to make it my mission for you to know that I love you. It won't necessarily be perfect. That's why it's unconditional. But I do believe that love hurts, but love doesn't break people.
That's true.
Get what I mean? Because as a person that loves you, that means I've paid attention to you to know what to do and not to do to break you as a person. And if I love you, I won't go there. So that's why I think that love is patient, love is kind. I've listened to a lot of stories from people that are like 80 and 90 and they've been married, and most of them always say, if you ask them why they're still together, they say because we kind to each other. Nice.
That's true.
We treat each other well. So I think that's what love is for me. Like if I love somebody,
you gotta cherish it.
Yeah,
cherish that person.
Those are the 3 things that I would want them to feel every day.
Yeah, and this isn't just about romantic relationships. This is about all love. Like the same things I would say about what I feel from my mom or my friends. But yeah, I forgot to say, love is energy. Love is it's not just a feeling.
Right.
It's a whole ass concept. It's if you live through love, it means living through faith into the goodness of the world, and whatever you do, you want to do it with the best wisdom and good intention.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like love is peace.
That too.
You can be in a room with a person that you love. You don't need to say nothing, but you feel that peace, happiness. When you have that feeling among that certain person, it can be a friend or a lover, then you know that you're in the right place. But if you have that, like feeling like whenever you're with somebody, you just feel like unease with yourself, then you need to check that relationship. Am I willing to invest it? So definitely for me, love is peace. And
just to say to that, when you get that feeling of uneasiness, sometimes it's a reflection of your own demons, your own traumas that you haven't dealt with. So you need to learn to also make a difference of what's happening in that person. Am I reacting to what's going on with him, or am I reacting to what's happening inside me?
That's true.
When that person does
that is true. Yeah, that is. It's a two-way thing.
Yeah,
it's a two-way thing.
I'm glad you said love is an energy, because like I totally agree with that. And I do believe, I like how you say love is a concept, because I think that that's where we start. We start teaching that love is not just a word, and it's not just about gestures. It's a whole way of being. And I realized that you notice people that have love in their heart when you see other things that go on in the world that has nothing to do with you, but you care.
That's true.
For an example, when wars break out, and you'll see some people like, oh, that's not my problem, so I don't care. That's not being a genuine loving person.
That's true.
Like the stuff that was happening in Palestine and all of that, like it impacted me, because as a genuine person, I care.
You care about human beings in general.
And that's what love is. Like you don't just turn on the switch to being a loving person. Like
true.
You wake up every day and you naturally have that in you to show it, even to people that do you wrong. Love is not always showing a kind gesture. Sometimes I show love to people by walking away. I show love to you by not returning that energy towards you.
Yes.
Like even when I grew up in church, they said sometimes turn the other cheek, and I didn't realize that's a form of love, because somebody can spit in your face and you know what you're capable of.
Exactly, but you choose not to.
Yeah,
you choose not to.
Because it's not even just about being the bigger person.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the bigger person for me is stumping you back out.
True.
I'm physically bigger than you.
True.
But the loving person in me is saying, I'm gonna walk away, and I'm gonna pray for you, or I'm gonna just hope that you figure out what's going on inside, to where you don't feel that you have to express this energy to other people.
True.
That's you being a loving
Why
person.
are you doing that? Yeah.
True that. Barry, continue to this question. The same question that I asked for, and I wanted to hear your opinion on that. How can one maintain a healthy balance between expressing love and avoiding manipulation in a relationship?
Honestly, I agree with almost everything.
She said, yeah.
Because I can't write it a better way. Like communication. I think I'm gonna just say communicating above all things that she said, because I know that that's something personally that I need to do better. That's something that I need to focus on, being able to communicate how I feel, but also being patient enough to listen to other people. Because I think that sometimes as men, we find ourselves feeling like, because I'm a man and I'm the leader and I have this responsibility to uphold this image as dominant, we don't feel like we need to listen. And I think that that's a stereotype that we need to flip.
Definitely.
I think that the most beautiful thing that I learned in my parents' relationship is that they don't see each other here or here, like man and wife. They see each other here.
Equal.
So if my mom is better at something, my dad will let her lead in that. Because at the end of the day, we just both want it to work.
True.
And if I'm better at something, my mom would let my dad lead in something, because ultimately it's about everything working. And that requires you to communicate and not have an ego. I think the funniest thing my mom ever told me is, before her and my dad got married, they discussed what their responsibilities were going to be, just as chores. So my mom would cook, she would wash the laundry, and my dad would do the yard and paint the wall. Like they already
have their roles.
Because
they
my mom knew as a woman what triggers her and what she doesn't like, and my dad knew what he doesn't like. And I think that communication helped them a lot, because now I know what to expect.
Exactly. Wow, that is so impressive. That's something that every people who are in a relationship, especially on early base, you should really communicate openly with your likes and your dislikes and all that, and what you're looking for in that relationship and all that good stuff. Barry, I want you to continue with this another question. What are some common signs of manipulation in a relationship that people often overlook? What are the signs?
For me, honestly,
love bombing is one. But go on.
signs of like when you're being manipulated.
Yes.
When it don't make sense. When stuff doesn't make sense. Like,
but we just talked about, like, when you're in love, you don't know what makes sense.
Yeah, but like for me, it's like from experience, sometimes you'll feel it. Like it's just a feeling, like
your instincts.
Yeah, like because some things hurt. And to me, love shouldn't just feel painful all the time. And I think that it's kind of just like pointing at a person's sore spot over and over, knowing that they won't respond. Like I don't really know or have a clear answer for that one, because everybody's manipulated differently. Like sometimes you can be manipulated, like you said, I'm a love bomb you to just blind you from the fact that I'm a con artist. Because some people will con you into believing that they're a good, genuine person.
Oh, you're talking about the TikTok star. What's her name? Reese. Have you followed that series, by the way? There's a TikTok girl by the name of Reese something. She was been a narcissistic manipulator for how many years, during COVID. Have you followed that?
I've heard about it.
I heard about it, but I really didn't follow them yet. But she actually has a whole series going on TikTok. So if you haven't heard about it, just go and follow it. She gained about 1 million followers in less than 1 month. Dang. That's how interesting her story was. So if you want to know the concept about manipulation, please download TikTok and follow that lady. Those are the basis from there, because she was truly manipulated, and she got a baby by this man. This man was playing his brother, his family. One person was playing different character. And she never knew about that for 3 years or so. And now she found out about everything, and now she's sharing her own personal story.
I got a personal story. It's not about me, but it's about somebody that I was talking to. And this woman was dating a man for 9 years and had 3 kids with him. And as a woman, she loved him. Like, she gave him 3 kids. This man never worked. He never paid a bill. He never even signed the birth certificate of his own kids.
Oh my God.
But because he knew that she was a good woman and she was loyal, she wouldn't go out and cheat. She wouldn't go out and leave. He manipulated her by making her think things like, oh, you got 3 kids, nobody's going to want you.
Yes. Yes.
Even if you find a man, he's not going to see the worth of you because you're already used up. And this woman went years under that man's spell because she felt trapped in that mindset.
She's not worthy.
And it took her to she finally built up the strength to put this man down. And she had to spend years to rebuild herself. But she realized everything that man told her was a lie. Men will love her for having kids because men don't just see the kids, they see who you are. A good man will see who you are.
That is true.
And it's sad because she got into that when she was 19 years old. So she's young. And she comes from a traditional family where, if you have kids, y'all stay together, y'all work it out.
Yeah.
But this man wasn't giving her kids out of love. Every time she wanted to leave, another baby popped up.
Yeah.
Every time she wanted to finally break away, he loved to bomb her into thinking that, oh, baby, I'm a change.
That's true.
Let's have another baby. Let's grow. Let's take the next step. And she finds herself beat down, tired. But at that point, he's manipulated and conditioned her to thinking that, oh, now I got you. That alone, like those type of actions, like those are big actions. Like people will really give you a baby to keep you from finding somebody that's better than them. And that's insane to me that a person will play with not only a person's emotions, but their physical. Because for a woman, like people downplay the ability to have a child. Like that's not something that easily comes. Like people think that, oh, just because you're a woman, you can give birth. There are a lot of women that can't give birth. And there are some men that will give you a child, not because they love you or they want to be
just because. Exactly. Have you ever heard this, Renee, when you meet a man, it's like, damn, I cannot wait to put a baby inside you.
Yeah.
Have you heard that line?
With them.
Yeah.
Like that.
They're like, like within a month, they just want to, get you pregnant because they think that when you are pregnant, you're going to be with them and stay home. Adding to your story, I actually do have a story also to share on that, but this is actually a man perspective. Okay. This guy, he was, can you believe that a guy could be raped?
Hell yeah.
Okay, I'm glad that you say that because he told me this, and I'm kind of like in two ways to think about this. Like, how is it possible and how? So they have 4 kids together with this lady. The 2 were planned and really wanted, but those 2 he was forced to have. And the lady had a knife in his throat while he was on top of him.
Crazy.
And he said that if you scream, I'm gonna, you know what I mean? And it was a black man and a white woman, unfortunately. This story is really real, and it's still going on. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, wow, there are women out here like this.
Yeah, because you can't put a category on crazy. Crazy comes in, like, this is what I had to learn. I don't doubt anything because it's so many people in this world, and like you said, everybody come with their baggage, but some of the baggage is crazy. There are some people out there that are not mentally well, and that's what I've learned about people that are manipulators. People that manipulate, it's always in here. They are not right in the head because there has to be something in your conscience that makes you feel that doing wrong is not right.
That's true.
It's just like a serial killer. Some of these people, once they get caught, they don't see anything wrong with what they did. A manipulator is the same way. So I believe that this woman would have put a knife to him and said, give me a baby or you gonna die, because she's crazy to the point where she would rather that man suffer than to be happy with somebody else. And that's what a lot of men and women do.
Damn. Wow.
And yeah, the moment you get self-aware of the bad actions you do, that's the moment when you need to start doing the actions to start healing yourself.
That's true.
So you can be a better version of yourself, but then you can treat others right as well. So you can be fair to the people who are in your life.
Would you like to add to this the same question that I asked Barry earlier? Like, how can what are the common signs of manipulation in a relationship that people often overlook?
So I think there's...
For a woman, speak from a woman perspective.
Well, honestly, I'm okay. I wouldn't say I'm a typical woman. I have a little bit more masculine also.
I can tell, girl. I can tell. I can tell.
But I'd say some simple ways of manipulation would be, it's some little stuff, like for this date, like today, baby, with you, like, can we do what, like, you want to do what you want to do with the man for that date.
Yeah.
you have a perfect date idea in your mind, but your man don't want to do that, but you really want to do it. So, you'll find a way to speak in a way that, for example, makes him think that it's a good idea.
That's what 99% African women do. I mean, the men think like they are the leaders, but you have a chicken, and the chicken always the head turns. That's what women does. You get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we let you think that you're making the decision, but we are making the decision for you.
So we wouldn't, that's the number one level. That's the simple
right,
one. That's not
I think that's healthy manipulation. I think like a little manipulation in a loving way is not bad. But one thing as a man that I know that I've personally seen done, sometimes a man to do something for you, something good once or twice, and he will keep that in the back pocket to remind you of what he did.
What he did, yes.
Yeah, like, girl, I love you. You remember that time? Why would I go out and buy you? You remember when I went and bought you that chicken when you were sick, and I walked in the rain that one time? Like, he will keep bringing that shit out his back pocket and have you like, oh yeah, well maybe he do love me because he did. And and sometimes that is manipulation, because some people, instead of continuing to do things, they will completely stop loving you the way that they did. And instead of stepping up and doing it, they're going to remind you of what they did.
I hate that. I hate that.
I know you remember, girl, when we went to Chick-fil-A that one time and I bought you that strawberry shit. I ain't have to do that. Niggas, I'm like, nigga, what have you done for me lately? I know you. And then some women are so sunk in, they will hit it and be like, yeah, you right, maybe I'm tripping now, girl. You're not tripping. He did that 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And sometimes men and this is the one, a man to get caught up in something, and it's the, oh baby, please, I'm sorry, my head wasn't in the right space. I was drunk, my friends made me do it. Nah, Negro, you know what you were doing.
What you were doing. You know what you were doing.
Baby, please don't leave me. I'm sorry. It's falling out in the flow, crying and everything. Some people got acting down so down packed. It's like you see it and you be like, damn, that boy's good. He need an Oscar for that performance. He need a whole Oscar. Nigga done cried. Then shook up some fake tears. They be manipulating. Like, when you see that constantly happen every time you get caught, that's how you know. Because why you don't show this same effort when you not in trouble?
True
when it's not bad. Like, why you only crying when you done got caught for the 50th time cheating?
Just know that any man who cries, really cry baby tears, just know that they be still lying in your face while they're crying.
And that's why I don't cry.
Yeah.
What?
I have a
First,
hard time.
What you say? You don't cry at all?
I don't cry. Not when I'm guilty or something.
Okay,
no.
Now you sound like going to the point of an emotion where you start to cry. Don't make that sound bad. That's a different thing.
No, I'm talking about the ones that force themselves to cry only when they get in trouble.
When they get in trouble. Those ones. Like, oh my God, baby, I don't mean it. Please forgive me. Like, really. And some women fell for that, because when they see men getting emotional and vulnerable, they're like, oh, he really do love me. You know what I mean? So ladies, please be attentive and, be attentive. Not all that glitters is gold out there in the relationship.
My mama used to say that.
Yeah, so you gotta listen to your instincts, Listen to your instincts. We all have instincts that got, input in us, so listen to that.
But, I mean, for sure, I'm not a good detective of detecting I like detecting manipulation. I'm really not. What I have felt, like from people who have manipulated me, and I've realized it later on that they did do that. I did have a bad feeling. My intuition was telling me something when they were acting up that way.
I'm gonna ask you a question. So now, if you see that same thing happen again now, would you be prepared for it? Like, can you detect it now that you've seen it before? Because I think that's how I can detect it now. Like, if I've been through this rodeo and I kind of see the same signs, I think now I will have a better chance to say, nah, I seen this before. Yeah. I think you playing with me.
Yeah, for sure. But then, okay, let's say that there's like a bigger scale of manipulation going on. Like, for example, somebody wanting to be with me, not because of love, but because of their own gain of, let's say, being in the same country because they have work goals or whatever. Well, see, that's a whole plot line of that's a big manipulation where they will just pretend to be something they're not.
True that. True.
But then, so that's hard to detect for sure. But then when there are like small actions that will just be manipulative, but you're still being yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean, the manipulator is still being themselves. That's easier to see, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because those are like, you can just hear what's wrong with the communication if you say something in a messed up way. Like, I mean, if somebody just speaks to you in a weird way and you're like, what? Mm-hmm. And you think that through, I mean, yeah, just focus on those moments, if you want to be sure that
you're not being best, I mean, don't get me wrong, we are all humans and nobody's perfect, and we all have we do have this manipulating skills in us, you know what I mean? One way or another, in a good way or a bad way, it's in us. But when a person does that often, and this is what I mean, like, I feel like manipulators love to be with people like act like victims, because I don't think a manipulator can manipulate a strong-minded person. It can be a female or a male. When they know that you're a strong-minded person, they will try to keep it real with you as possible. But when they know that you're weak and vulnerable and you need reassurance, like all the time, you know what I mean? Like, those are the people who are easily to be manipulated because they feel like they don't have confidence, and also
it's easier for them to believe.
Yeah, it's easier for them to believe whatever they say to you. Like, oh my God, you are beautiful, you are this. If you don't believe that you're beautiful by yourself, you're gonna keep looking for somebody else telling you that. Don't ever let somebody okay, Renee, when I look at you, you are beautiful. You know what I mean? But if you don't believe that in yourself, and somebody else keep telling you, oh Renee, you're beautiful, you this, you're not gonna believe that. You're gonna always keep looking for somebody else to tell you more and more and more and more. And that's how manipulated people works, because this is like, oh, they see an easy target. This person, she likes to be told this, she likes to hear this. Now let me do this, and they're gonna get you in the trap.
There's actually a funny, like, I just want to say, a same person.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, when they grow as a person and they start loving themselves fully, they will not be as easy to be manipulated as they were before.
No,
of course, because you have levels as a person. Yes. You can totally change from who you were 2 years ago to who you are now.
And the only reason why you change, because you have your worth now. Like, oh, this is this is the person I am. And I'm confident in my own skin. I am beautiful just the way I am. I don't need no validation. Any validation I get from you, Barry, it's a plus.
Yeah.
So what I feel and how I am.
Yeah.
But
sorry, go on.
No, if I'm just, because there are a lot of queens out there who are, like the most beautiful, gorgeous, but they don't see themselves that, and they don't carry themselves that way.
Yeah.
And they are born to put themselves in a position where they're being used and manipulated, and they will allow it just because they feel like it's better to be with that person than to be alone. Yeah.
And that lack of self-value comes from trauma. Some people were lucky they didn't get that trauma during their lives, and they were raised with that full love. They believe in themselves. They see that they're a queen or they're a king from the moment they were a kid, and it keeps going like that. But for some people, you need to go through that painful healing to reach that point.
That's
and
true.
Personally, that was the deal for me, and I'm still going, but I'm way bigger than I was before.
Yeah, you had to go through that. I mean, you had a personal battle within yourself?
Yes, for sure. And I did not see myself as valuable, let's say, 2 years ago. But I had an interesting example to this one also. A manipulator manipulating somebody who they see is vulnerable and is not trusting themselves, and it's easy to be like
believe in what they're saying.
So I was dating a guy, and I knew that he was dating other people at the same time, and I saw that he was treating them in that exact way. He was manipulating the shit out of them, but he wouldn't do that to me because he saw he can't.
Wow. Imagine that.
Yeah.
You mean you were in a situationship. This is what they call situationship, right?
Yes.
You can date multiple people at the same time. Or were
not
you
necessarily? It's just a stage of dating when you're not in a relationship yet.
Okay.
And it might not go into a relationship.
Okay.
You're just like kind of like, let's see where this goes.
Okay. Yeah. So you're allowed to see other people. He's allowed to see other people, but you guys still see each other.
Yes,
that's dating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do something like that, but maybe I'm just too old school for that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously these days, the happier. I mean, I'm happier when the guy. I mean, I'm bi, or when a woman, when they choose that they want to be with me fast, when they're sure about me fast. That means that there's no months of
when their intentions is genuine and they show you like what they want in a relationship.
Yeah, that they want me,
Okay.
That they're not unsure and they don't want to keep on dating those other people.
Yeah.
Of course, that makes me happier because it makes me think that this guy's for real. They want me, so now I feel more comfortable putting in the effort as well, and I don't want to see other people.
Okay, so yeah, I kind of hear what you're saying. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, with that specific person, yeah, that was not it. That was not it. I can't. I mean, how can you be with somebody who wants to manipulate other people like that?
How long were you with him?
So we were seeing each other on and off for like 6 months. Okay. And I was actually in love with him. And we had a trauma bond. That was what drew me to him.
Yeah.
But it needed to end. But this person still appreciates me greatly because of how strong they saw I am.
Mentally, right?
Yeah. So it's not like they don't like you if you can't be manipulated either. It's just that because of the trauma in him and him not taking responsibility and the time to heal leads him to keep doing that to the people he can. But he's not going to find true love with that action.
No, it's not. And that's something I actually want to talk about in the next episode, trauma bonding, because there are a lot of individuals who are actually bound by trauma bonding. It could be like you experienced the same thing as childhood and that brought you guys together. But that's something that we're going to dive in later on another episode. Time is running out. Barry, I have this question for you. Now let's talk about positivity and rebuilding. How can someone rebuild trust and navigate a relationship after discovering manipulative behavior?
I think that when people do things to you, the first thing you have to do is kind of forgive yourself, because I learned that sometimes we think we're forgiving other people, but when people hurt us, the way we beat ourselves up sometimes is probably worse. So I think transparency, just really sitting down, laying everything on the table and just talking about it. And I do think that there needs to be a trial period where this person has to show you, like, I could tell you over and over, I'm going to be better, but when you hurt somebody, you have to be willing to be ready to do the work that they ask you.
Exactly.
I think that sometimes a lot of us don't want to do the work. We feel that when we say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you caught me, I ain't gonna do it again," that should be enough.
True.
If you really want a woman or a man after you've messed up, you got to be ready to do the work, and you can't complain about how hard that work is gonna be.
True.
That's just simple as that. So communication and put in work.
Communication and put in work. Renee, would you agree to what Barry says?
Repeat the question, please.
The question was, how can someone rebuild trust and navigate a relationship after discovering manipulative behavior?
Yeah, I mean, the person who has been the manipulator, they need to take the responsibility. If they don't do that, that just means you're not being real with yourself and you're not being honest and real with the other person. So that's step one. And after that, you need to decide if you want to rebuild the trust. But yeah, of course, now we want to rebuild the trust. So, I mean, it's a difficult thing.
Step one, the manipulator needs to take accountability of his wrong ways and do better. Not only by, saying it, but really actions speak louder than what?
Yeah,
words. So I believe that I believe that in some way, like I said earlier, we are all, humans. We do mistake. But if somebody who is out there, somebody really out there doing that as their job, you know what I mean, to find that insecure person. It could be a male. There are some males who are also insecure, you know what I mean. There are women who are out there, like, it's vice versa. So it's not only men who are doing the manipulating thing. I think that women is actually the greater. They are better being manipulative than men's. It's just obvious for men. We women's we're sneaky, you know that.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep it real.
We like that smart.
You're not smart, exactly. Thank you. I wanted to say, but I didn't want to sound rude. I didn't want to sound. I'm like, okay. Women's are smart because when we were about to do some sneaky stuff, you would never know. You wouldn't even guess it.
Yeah, this whole discussion about smartness between, gender, it's just about who thinks usually more logically and who thinks through emotions. But it's not even about the thinking. It's about how much you let your emotions take control of your decision making. You know, but rebuilding trust is difficult. No matter in what kind of situation, it's difficult, and there's no. For me, I'm still learning how to do that. To be honest. But first, you have to be willing to do the work on why you would treat the other person badly.
True.
And you would want to become a better person for yourself and for the other person. So you need to do some trauma work.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for many people.
I would like to add to this question also from my own personal experience. Like, how can someone rebuild trust and navigate relationship after discovering manipulative behavior? Let's say, for instance, for the story that I shared with you guys earlier about my past relationship and how so it's been 10 years I haven't really dealt the trauma like I had, in the past. But now that I'm in a loving, healthy relationship, now what I experienced 10 years ago, it's haunting me because I do want to be, I want to be vulnerable. I want to able to receive love. But then it just hit me like, damn, I really went through like, a lot. But I was just minimizing what I went through and not really willing to talk about it. I was acting like, oh, I'm fine. Like, how we Black do. We always keep our feelings in our shells and not, all good. Not, we don't talk about it. And also in the past, I never thought about like why I never really opened up to other people. It's when somebody do one mistake, you're out. That's how I've been. That's how I've, really been for a long time. But I just felt like, okay, this person he's really making me to see like, you know what, Diana, the way you've been dealing with men is not the right way. You need to look in your past and say, he did not tell me that, but my intuition, like I'm talking to myself in the mirror, like, why am I acting like this? This guy is being like this. Why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have one thing to that. It's just if you've been through trust issues in your past, remember that this person's not that person.
That's where I was going. Because I had to look, like Barry said, he had to look himself in the mirror, to really take accountability of his wrongdoing and trying to be a better person. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not saying I'm perfect or I'm there yet, but I'm willing to take the work. I'm willing to do the work because why? This person that I'm with, he's worth it.
Yeah.
He's not that person that I was with 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He's being like, that's a different human being. So why am I taking my past into the future? These are all the questions that I'm really contemplating with myself.
And that's why I said you got to forgive yourself. Because,
thank you.
I think that what you said something in between. You downplayed what you went through before.
I did.
You minimized
for many years.
And that's what a lot of us do. But don't ever think that what you go through is smaller or less than somebody else. Like, I had to realize that just because it seems small or somebody else's story seems greater, it doesn't mean that it made you feel any less.
True.
Like, even if she steps on my toe, it might not hurt me, but if I step on her toe back, it might hurt differently.
That's true. That's
true.
But
sometimes we downplay what we go through so much and we minimize it. We're not getting past it. We're only pushing that healing back. So I think that now you just need to like focus on forgiving yourself. Not like, because sometimes like we don't just need to look in the mirror to see about the wrong we did. We gotta look at the wrong we accepted. And we gotta look at how we never just gave ourselves a fair chance to grow through that. And I think that it's fair that you want to do that now, because if you believe that this man that you're saying now is worth it, he deserves you at your best.
Yes,
is what I'm saying.
Exactly. That's exactly my own thoughts within myself. Like, this person is really showing out. He's there for my kids. He's really like, trying his best. So he's not only talking, but he's doing the work. So what am I doing? Like, who do I think I am? Like, just to be like, we black girls, we do have some attitude sometimes. you, you know what I mean, Renee?
Yeah, I do.
So, but I just feel like it's because I've been minimizing for so long what I went through. I did not acknowledge what I went through. I was just like, nah, I'm good. But now that I really met somebody real and something, because you would know when you met something real. You would know that.
You're gonna feel it.
You're gonna feel it, and now I'm willing to put in the work. It's a slow process, but I'm taking baby steps towards that direction.
Yeah.
And all that. So
yeah.
Just to say, because we were talking about how to rebuild trust if you've experienced manipulation. So whether or not you're building that in yourself, how can I trust anybody? How can I trust this person I'm seeing now?
Exactly.
Or if you're still with the same person who manipulated you or who you manipulated and you want to rebuild trust, that it's the same thing about the inner work. Like you need to change your behavior. You need to change yourself. And if you need to realize or learn why you did what you did and how you can like fix that mindset, that wrong mindset that you have, what made you do that, that's what you got to do anyway.
Exactly. That's you do have a great point. And that's definitely what I'm doing. I'm not doing what I did wrong. It was neglecting the person feeling back then.
Oh, yeah. And just in addition to that,
Yeah.
like the work is not just about realizing where you failed at. It's also about realizing that you did not have the tools back then to maybe do better, but you've learned, you've grown, and
you can do better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a new situation. So you can decide to take that leap of faith or then move on,
I'm taking the leap of faith. Let's take some leap of faith. I mean, yes, I'm not saying that I'm going to be, all in love and all that, but it's baby steps. I'm getting there, It is hard to rebuild that trust. It is hard to really like trust, even with friendship. This is not only like a relationship. This is about everybody. I've been dealt with some, because I would say I'm a kind person. I treat people how I would like to be treated. So there's so many things I've been through because of helping people, So right now I'm being naive and being protective of my, you know what I mean, space. So now that I'm being like that, I'm very, like, very, very, very conscious of who I hang out with, who I give my time with, and all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna take me time for me to really trust people around me. And as you know, as an artist, both of you guys, there's some people who really want to be around you because of what you do and who you are, and you know what I mean. So we go through that daily, especially when you're on social media. People know you, so you never know, is it genuine love they have for you, or they just want to finance their way through you to get, you know what I mean. So yeah, so for people in the industry, it's difficult for you to trust people out here. Everybody's looking out for themselves.
One thing I'm gonna say is, if I could give you any advice, remember we said as humans we won't be perfect.
Yeah.
And that goes into even our judgment and just like keeping people away. We won't be perfect even in that. Like sometimes we will be deceived. But what will make you always feel good is knowing that your heart and your intentions was in the right place.
Amen. Yes.
Because I don't feel bad anymore about how people did me, because I understand that I didn't do that to them and I wouldn't have did that. And I can live going forward knowing that my heart and my actions was right. Like, even though that person did something to me, they can't go back and say I did something
exactly
to them. But ultimately, I'm a person of faith. I don't really know what's above, but I know that if there's something bigger than me, they see the work that I'm doing. So if a person does something wrong to me, that's on them.
That's on them.
I'm going to forgive and I'm going to move forward. And I learned that person is not right. I'm not going to hold a guard up for everybody, because then I might miss a person that could be a blessing to me.
That is true.
But regardless of what situation you face, good or bad, know that your intentions was right.
It's always
and
good.
You're gonna always be at peace. Because it took me years to finally like get to a peaceful realm where I'm at the point where you could say whatever and you could try whatever. I'm not gonna let your wrong impact me that way, because I'm okay with who I am and what I'm doing.
True.
But once you show me, now I know. And if you have people around you that know people that are doing wrong and they don't say anything to you, they gotta go with that person.
They gotta go too. That's true.
They gotta go with that person.
That's true.
Too.
Yes, Renee.
just to say, I believe and I know that you can always trust a certain level, even if you don't know people. You can live by the rule that I'm gonna trust to the point when somebody proves to me that I shouldn't trust them.
I hear you.
When a lot of people live through, I don't trust anybody, and they need to gain my trust. But I'd rather, for the sake of myself, live in a way that I think that I want to trust everybody, and I'm gonna at a certain level. Because I have a lot of trust issues. I can't. At least trust everybody fully until one proves
you want to give them the
trust
benefit
them.
of the doubt.
But I want to give everybody the benefit of doubt, and I can still keep my eyes open at the same time.
Yeah.
And also remember, you don't have to trust everybody the same way.
No, of course not.
All of your friends, like I have friends that I know with certain things they're going to be great at and certain things they're not going to be great at.
Yeah.
That also comes to you being good at evaluating your circle.
That's
like
true.
You said, I have a genuine trust for people. Like, I don't think that everybody that walks by me is going to punch me in the face. Like, I would trust that everybody in the front of the
well, that's the minimum. I love that phrase.
It's the minimum right there. So I trust that every decent person would do a decent person thing. But when it comes to my intermediate circle, I don't get my hopes up or down with people because I understand how I need certain people and what I trust them with.
True.
I have some friends that I can pour everything into. I have some friends that I won't pour everything into. I have some friends that I know I can't put this burden on you. You can't handle this.
That is true. I'm like you on that. I'm like you on that.
And that doesn't make you a bad person saying, "Oh, I can't trust people." No, I'm selective with my energy.
That's the word. That's the word.
That's the word. It's okay to be selective.
It is okay. It is
because people are selective with you, whether you believe it or not. You may not know that some things that your friends are selective with you with.
It is
you gotta be comfortable with that too.
That's true. That's true. It's not an ego thing or whatever, but you need to be protective of your energy. As you said earlier, you're a big lover of energy, So for me,
I'm very aware of it.
Yeah. So, but
she got her energetic.
She already got it since she walked in. Okay, guys, we're about to close. It's been 1 hour 30 minutes already. Okay, so any last advice for the viewers out there who are in a relationship or not relationship or about to be in a relationship, and when it comes to this topic about love and manipulation, what they should be aware of?
Well, this is about everything. You need to remember your value. You need to value yourself. That's the only way you can be.
I need you to say it louder.
You need to value yourself. Hey. Remember that you're that baddie.
Hey.
You're that prince.
Yes.
And to be a king and a queen, you need to do the best you can.
Yes.
And you need to keep learning. You need to keep growing. That's all I can say.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Renee. Thank you, Renee. That was a beautiful advice. Remember, first key, value yourself. Know who you are. Know your words. When you know your words, you know what people you're allowed in your circle. I'm going to leave it to Safari. What advice you have?
I'm going to just say, be honest with yourself. If you're not ready, just be okay with not being ready. You don't have to force yourself to go into something that you're not ready for. Love yourself, as she said, and be honest with yourself. Because if you're not honest with yourself, you can't be honest with other people.
Amen to that. You heard from the one and only Safari Barry. Thank you, guys. This was really, really amazing. Anyway, to the viewers, there were some comments there. Unfortunately, I couldn't read their comments. But thank you for tuning in. We have viewers from everywhere, Canada and everywhere, India. Thank you, guys, and I hope this was really educative, and I hope what we have shared with you guys, you will take it as a learning lesson. Nobody's perfect. We're not perfect, but we're just trying to make relationship a little bit easier for you all. Till next time, this was your host, Chatwithmissd, and we are out. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take care of you. You know, go hurt, I refuse it. I never blow you no fuse. My chica bonita be you. I'm gonna take care of you. You know, go hurt, I refuse.